as we've already discussed, the great role in destroying the popularity of tower defense in the beginning of 20th century was played by keeper Rubinstein, one of the greatest positional players ever, who had many original ideas and who influenced many generations of many future generations of the great players, including such great scientists and champions as Mikhail Botvinnik. Rubinstein always had a very creative approach, and while looking at the fundamental weakness of Tarar's defense, the weak pawn on d5, the isolated pawn on d5, he came up with the concept of developing his bishop on g2. And this concept proved to be very poisoned, in fact deadly at the time, for adherents of Tarar's defense. So the two games he played in the match against Salwe that were very instructive, and of course we have to mention a game where Rubinstein was able to beat not less than Jose de Capablanca, also very young and some say inexperienced player, arrived in Europe for the first international tournament, but nevertheless it was Jose de Capablanca who lost this game to his main competitor in the tournament in San Sebastian. So let's start with one of the games that considered to be a pure masterpiece to illustrate all the dangers of black's position and a very instructive way of capitalizing on white's advantages. So bishop g2, ct4, and queen b6. So that was one of the ways of developing black's pieces, and black hoped that after knight c6, bc6, they had no weaknesses and could quite develop the pieces. In fact, Rubinstein was first to spot that d5, c6 is also a potential weakness, because if white exchanged dark square bishops, then c5 square could become a nice and very important stronghold for white pieces, both for the knight, for the rook, or even for the queen. So, and Rubinstein was very precise in developing his plan. So castle, bishop b7, knight a4, queen b4, bishop b3, and we can see that white pieces are all concentrating around this square. So, and while Salwe was making some moves, like just provoking f3, which he probably considered to be a weakness in white's position, Rubinstein found a way to use this f3 as also part of his plan. That's a great demonstration of the player's strengths and creative ability to turn every slight change in the position into his favor. So bishop went on c5, and I think Salwe was still yet to recognize all the dangers. Now rook goes on f2. So it's not just a quiet move protecting e2 pawn. It prepares bishop f1, bishop f1. Then the pawn could go on e3, and then rook can go on c2. So all these maneuvers, they seem a little bit theoretical, but look how Rubinstein eventually managed to do all of this. Knight d7, take on e7, queen d4. Now, as we see, with disappearance of white, a bishop on c5, white queen comes on d4, taking control of this vital square of c5. Rook a8, bishop f1, rook c8, e3, queen b7, knight c5, exchange of knights, and now that's the position Rubinstein was dreaming of. Of course, now the modern player was trying to play a5 with black, trying immediately to create some chances on the queen side, then putting queen on b6 or queen on a7, bishop on d7, trying to hold out. But what's important was pawn on a5, put little pressure on the white's position on the queen side, and of course preventing b4. But Salwe was unaware about all the problems. Rook c2, look, all the white pieces are there, and now b4. Probably we could say that black position now is technically lost, because it has nothing no means to oppose White's constant development on the queen side, working on all black weaknesses here and there, and in fact now preventing b4, b5, black had to play a6, creating thus another square, another weakness on a6. Rook a5, rook b8, a3. So that's it. Now we could see that one of the pawns is being lost, and after rook a7, a little bit of nice tactics, and the rest was absolutely irrelevant. So that's one of the games. We can look at another game where Salwe developed pieces differently, playing bishop e6. At that time, it was considered an important move. As you know, from Spassky's time, bishop never went on e6 without necessity, and black first played bishop e7 and a castle. So Rubinstein attacked bishop g5, rook c1. Now, of course, black could play c4, but Salwe tried to be again to play a simple game, and another demonstration of a great master, a transposition of one advantage into another one. So instead of just simply attacking the pawn on d5, White actually spots the possible dangers for black in the endgame. The black king is on g8, and it's the eight rank is weak because they missed the chance to play h6 on time, and white bishops can attack the weaknesses on the queen side, and also white rook is already on c1, which gives white extra time of developing initiative. So after d4 take and knight takes c4, black already under really heavy pressure. So bishop c6, then Rubinstein simply creates a lot of weaknesses for black, and then it's with typical precision he just makes sure that black is annihilated. So we just could see another demonstration of his impeccable technique. So that's it. But now let's look at another big game. Rubinstein Capablanca, San Sebastian, 1911. So Capablanca arrived in Europe probably unaware about all theoretical development. So he played tower defense against Frank Marshall, and he was very comfortable in equalizing. So due to certain reasons, he just tried to refrain from playing knight f6. Maybe he wanted to avoid Rubinstein's favorite bishop g5, but it proved to be worse than the remedy proved to be worse than potential sickness. So Rubinstein actually seize this chance to take bishop on e6, had two bishops, and eventually managed to torpedo Capablanca's position with a straight shot, knight takes d5. So after queen h6, king g2, rook d8, he found an excellent move, queen c1. There are more interesting analysis of this game that presented in volume 1 of my great predecessors, and the revised edition will be offering some new ideas to show how Capablanca could defend his position in the opening and later on. But all these revisions and all this new analysis, they are not belittling at any point the Rubinstein's great accomplishments in the openings that actually proved all the possible potential dangers that black is facing in the tower's defense. We're not going through the whole game. We can just point out at one very interesting moment where Rubinstein was a bit complacent in a totally winning position and led Capablanca at move 38 to make a fantastic move, rook takes a2, and after which bishop takes a2, b3 would be good for black. So rook a2 led to tremendous complications, but eventually, after long analysis and contribution from different players worldwide that were published on chessbase.com, it was proven that Rubinstein was still dominant. Little relevance for the game. I don't know what would be the outcome of the game if Capablanca took on a2, but it's always exciting to see how players, even not very prominent players, could benefit from using the computers, and also to make a tremendous contribution into our ultimate search for the chess truth, which we should not stop at any point trying to recognize the importance of our classical chess heritage, which is combined in all the games we're looking at with you now.